like a startling sign that fate had finally found me, and your voice was all I heard, that I get what I deserve. So give me reason to prove me wrong, to wash this memory.
I am Brandon.
And I'm Vincent.
And this is our documentary about Fort Preble.
Fort Preble is named after Edward Preble. It was a small brick fort that mounted 12 to 13 cannons. It only had, after that it was garrisoned until 1950. It only had 2 caretakers. In the Civil War they invented rifle artillery. In 1863 they started building Fort Preble into a granite fort that was supposed to mount 110 guns.
As I mentioned earlier, you don't have walled forts. You have scattered gun batteries and you have scattered buildings. And the guns that they mounted, this is a toy from the 1930s. This is called a disappearing carriage rifle. So let's pretend this is the concrete and earth wall of the front wall of the fort. So the gun, and importantly the crew, is protected from enemy fire because they can't hit that. The shells at this level are going to hit earth and the hidden concrete. And what it did is called disappearing because it would pivot up, after they've loaded it, it would pivot up, fire, and then disappear back down. So this is how this toy works. And this is exactly the same principle as the big guns. So the gun would be in, here's the front of the gun battery. The gun would be loaded. It would pivot up. Now it's over the top of the battery, fire, and it would recoil down in position to be swabbed out and loaded again. So I have a collection of these toys in the 1930s. It would fire a shell, and again, the barrel is grooved, so that shell is coming out spinning, and it'll hit that same target. And they had a very sophisticated system. They had a tide station to measure the tide. They measured the wind, and they did what they call triangulation of fire. You've seen these tall concrete towers around? Maybe not. But they'd have one over here and one over here, a couple miles away, and then they'd have their gun here, and they would zero in on their target here, and then they could fire on that target, and they were pretty accurate. Whereas the earlier generations, it was point and shoot.
Hello, I'm here to talk about a very interesting man. His name was Private Scruggs. And this is what made him part of history here. Many men came to Fort Preble disguised as fishermen. But Scruggs was the only one left in his cell. And he could not bear to be from his loved one anymore. So he escaped. But he got shot in the process, and a whole group of soldiers were after him. So he tried swimming away. But right before the soldiers came, Scruggs wrote a letter written in his blood.
Well, I took a walk around the world to ease my troubled mind. I left my body lying somewhere in the sands of time. But I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. I feel there's nothing I can do. Yeah. I watched the world float to the dark side of the moon. After all, I knew it had to be something to do.